Welcome to the JAR Community J in a Day volunteer resource video. During the first session, students learn what a community is and the variety of jobs that people have in a community. As the class begins, display or project the JAR community poster, pass out the table tents, and greet the students. Share your name, your job, and why you are a JA volunteer. Display or project the illustrated vocabulary flashcards and use your volunteer guide to introduce the terms for this session. Then ask students about the types of work people and their families do. Point to Lily on the JAR community poster, who is the girl with the soccer ball in the park, and tell students you are going to read a story about her and that you want them to help. Ask the students to stand at their desks. Explain that each time they hear certain words, they are to perform certain actions. When they hear the word like or liked, they should clap their hands. When they hear good at, they should show their muscles. And when they hear the word job or jobs, say ding ding ding. Practice each action with the students, then read the story slowly enough for students to respond to the action words. Next, bring out the bag of job cards you separated before class. Remember to set aside the Baker job card for use later in the session. Allow each student to reach into the bag and pick a card, or distribute a card to each student. Have students read their card and share the information with a neighbor. Read aloud the information on a few of the cards. Then invite a few of them to match their job card to the poster. Lead a brief discussion about the skills needed and the roles for various jobs by using the questions listed in your guide. Next, students will play tic-tac-toe 3 jobs in a row. Follow the instructions in your volunteer guide to organize the students, the job cards, and distribute the game pieces that you prepared before this session. As you wrap up session 1, hold up the Baker job card you set aside earlier and point to the Sweet O Donuts shop on the poster. Tell students next they will get to make their own donuts using paper donuts and ingredient stickers. Display or project the JAR Community and Sweet O Donut Production Side 1 posters as you transition to Session 2. Review the Baker job card and introduce the Sweet O Donut shop. Point out the shop on the JAR Community poster. Use the guide to explain today's vocabulary words using the flashcards from your kit or the digital versions. Consider sharing a story about a time when you made, bought, or sold goods or offered services for money. Have the students listen carefully as you explain the steps to produce donuts. Tell the students that to get paid for their work, they must do their best to produce each donut correctly. Emphasize that if a baker produces donuts that are not made well, the donuts will not sell. Display or project the Sweet O Donuts poster Side 1. Demonstrate the production process in the 4 steps described, and show the students what a well-made donut looks like. Ask the teacher to help you organize the students into 6 equal-sized teams and have them gather around a large table or workspace. Give each team 6 donut sheets, 2 ingredient sticker sheets, and 6 crayons. Explain that each team must share supplies and each team member must complete all the donut making steps. Before teams begin, share the checklist criteria noted on the poster and in your volunteer guide. Emphasize that donuts must pass inspection. Let students know that you and the teacher will decide whether each donut produced can be sold based on the checklist criteria. Let the class know that when you say start, teams will produce as many quality donuts as they can in 3 minutes. Call start to begin and stop after 3 minutes. Flip the Sweet O Donut production poster to the production record and record the number of donuts each team made. If you or the teacher finds a defect, the donut should be thrown away and not counted in the total. Explain that a defect is a mistake made when producing something. Have students compare production quantities. Congratulate the winning team and all the students for doing good work. If time allows, distribute the junior journals and have students turn to page 4. Using the activity in your guide, ask students to think of a new kind of donut to sell, then have them draw a picture in their journals. As an option, you may have students remain in their teams and create a single innovative donut. At this point, you'll have been teaching for more than an hour, so it may be a good time for a stretch break. Ask students or the teacher if a short 5-minute break would be helpful. Allow students to stand beside their desks to move and stretch. As you move to Session 3, tell students they will now locate businesses, identify government jobs, and pay taxes. Use your volunteer guide and the JER community poster to continue the discussion of businesses and the different types of jobs found in a community, including government worker jobs. Remind students that job skills are important in careers. You may want to talk about the skills you learned at your first job, such as phone communication, computer programs, customer service, etc. with the class. Distribute the How Does a Community Work worksheets and the business sticker sheets. Ask students to place the business stickers on the correct spots on their worksheets. The names of the business stickers are in the margin. Have students complete as many matches as they can in 5 minutes. You and the teacher should walk around the room to help students as needed. Use the questions listed in your volunteer guide to discuss the different businesses. Next, tell the students that it is now payday. They earned the money making donuts earlier. Explain that the sale of those donuts made it possible for them to be paid. Give each student $5 in the form of 5 $1 bills and have them place the money they earned on their desk and leave it there for now. Next, pass out a job card to each student. Ensure that you've pulled out the police officer and firefighter job cards from the card deck and set them aside. Distribute the remaining job cards to the students, making sure to include the remaining government cards and the baker and hairstylist job cards. Have students read the skills and duties on their job cards and the related jobs found at the bottom of the cards. Next, tell them the community has a problem. Use the prompts in your guide to walk through the community scenario. Explain that to pay police and firefighters, the government collects taxes. Display or project the vocabulary words for government and taxes. Use the talking points in your guide to share more about the government and taxes. Then ask the students who hold the government job cards, the cards with a blue border, to come to the front of the room. Give a boy and girl closest to you the police officer and firefighter job cards. Have all 7 students form a line. Tell the students standing that they are government workers. Emphasize that government workers have different jobs. Many, like the police officer and the firefighter, provide services to a community. After the game, remind the class that government workers are paid through taxes. Tell the students that you will now be the tax collector for the classroom community. Put on your tax collector button. Explain that a tax collector is a government worker who collects money from citizens and businesses to pay government workers and for services provided by the government. Collect $2 from each student. Tell the students that the remaining $3 is their money to keep. They earned it and can spend it to buy the things they need and want from businesses in a community. This is how money moves through a community. Transition to Session 4 by letting students know that next they will make a decision to help their school community. Use the questions in your volunteer guide to have a brief discussion with the class about good decision making. Let the class know that you have a surprise for them. They will pretend that the baker from the Sweet O Donuts shop has made the decision to donate or give $500 to their school. You may need to define the word donate. Tell the students their class has been chosen to start a Keep Our School Beautiful program, and they will decide how to spend the $500. Discuss the possible advantages and disadvantages of each choice. Refer to some of the examples listed in your guide and encourage as much discussion as possible. Ask the teacher to help you organize the students into discussion groups. Within their groups, students should brainstorm and think of reasons for or against each choice. Have them consider how each choice will affect themselves and others. As students discuss, distribute one make a decision sheet to each student. Have students write their names on the sheets, then fill out the first box together as a class. Next, ask students to name a reason why they don't think a recycling program is a good idea for the school, completing the first response as a class, and then adding additional responses on their own. Give students a few minutes to complete the sheets and have a few students offer the pluses and minuses for each choice. Write those in the appropriate thumbs up or thumbs down boxes on the decision tree chart. Let students know there are no right or wrong decisions. Next, tell the students it's now time to decide which of the 3 choices they like best for the school by voting. Explain the terms vote and ballot and distribute the ballots and ask the students to check their choice. Collect the ballots and record the votes on the board as shown in the example in your guide. To save time, have the teacher distribute an I voted sticker to each student while you tally the votes. Now have a runoff between the top 2 choices and have students raise their hand to vote for their top choice. The choice that gets the most votes wins. Use your guide to explain the voting process and introduce the term majority. Debrief the session using the review questions provided. Now may be a good time to take another 5-minute break to allow students to stand and stretch. Before moving on, take 2 or 3 minutes to review what students have learned so far today and tell them in the last session of the day they'll sing a song to see how money moves through a community. Use a volunteer guide to discuss how people spend money. Ask a student to find the community bank on the poster and describe what happens there. Display or project the session's vocabulary words and explain the new terms. Tell the class you will now play a song about how a quarter travels through the community. Distribute the junior journals and play the Money Moves rap song.
I'm a new quarter, shiny and clean, made at the mint by a stamping machine.
Have the students follow along using the numbered text inside their journals. As they become familiar with the chorus, have them sing along.
Get paid real money for a job well done. Penny, nickel, dime, quarter. Pay your taxes and have some fun. Penny, nickel, dime, quarter.
After you've played the song, explain that you'll now choose 7 students to role-play how a single quarter passes through many different businesses in a community. Follow the activity steps as listed in your volunteer guide. As you read aloud, the students will demonstrate the circular flow of money by passing the big quarter card in unison with the lyrics of the song. Have students return to their seats and debrief the session with the questions provided. Thank the students for their good work, and if time permits, ask them to share with you what they learned and most enjoyed about today. Tell the class they are now ready for graduation. Distribute the certificates of achievement and postcards with magnet, shaking each student's hand and encouraging them to continue to do well in school. You can leave any extra materials with your teacher or return them to the JA office. We hope that you enjoyed your JA in a Day experience and will participate again in the future. Please share your feedback by completing the online survey referenced in your volunteer guide. Thank you for being a Junior Achievement volunteer.